Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. So today's video is another review. This time it's of a TV show because a lot of you, if you follow me on social media, will know that I've recently been getting into Supernatural. I watched the first ever episode in a media lesson one time because it was my teacher's birthday and she really likes it. So I watched the first episode then, and ever since then I've been binging it, and a couple of weeks ago I finished the finale of season 11 and now I've completely caught up. So I thought I'd make a video where I just kind of talk about all the seasons, what my favourite episodes were, who my favourite characters are, and all the fun stuff like that. I will be mentioning spoilers, so if you haven't seen or caught up with Supernatural yet, then warning, you have been warned. So I first heard of Supernatural back when I got Tumblr in like 2013. I just often saw these gifs of these guys and I knew there were like angels and demons and that, but that's all I ever really knew is what I saw on Tumblr. Then the past year I have always been like, maybe I should try watch that Supernatural show because I see it all over Tumblr and it looks really good. Then I found out it's on its 11th season. I was like, okay, maybe not, because that's going to be a lot of TV to catch up on. But then we ended up watching that first step in the media lesson and I loved it, so I thought might as well. And I watched the first episode around the 20th of April and then I finished season 11 in late August. I was watching at least one episode a day. Some days I'd watch up to 8 episodes. I was like hardcore binging, trying to catch up. But yeah, it was awesome. So I think to start with, I'm just going to kind of go through each season and tell you what my favourite episodes were of them and stuff like that. So first we have season 1. So season 1, we find out that Dean and Sam's mum was killed by a demon, although they don't know that to start with. And so the whole season they're trying to find their dad, as well as find out what killed their mum. And it was a really good, strong first season. I really enjoyed it. So my favourite episodes, I will be reading off a list because I can't memorise all the episode numbers and names, but so my favourite season 1 episode was episode 3, Dead in Water. I really liked that one because it was really cool how the ghost possessed water, and I don't know, it was really good. I also liked episode 4, Phantom Traveller, because it was really good how they showed that Dean has a fear, because you know, they're not these like, well, they are brave hunters, but they're scared of things. So that was really awesome to see. Episode 5, Bloody Mary, again, that was really awesome and I loved that episode. Episode 12, Faith, was interesting. Episode 13, Route 666, was so cool, and the like car chase scene with the truck and stuff was really awesome. So I liked that one. And then my favourite episode in the whole season has to be episode 17, Hell House, because I mean, the ghost faces are like amazing. I love the ghost faces so much, and I absolutely loved that episode where we first came across them, and it was really awesome. So that was my favourite episode of the season. So then season 2, their dad actually dies in the first episode and I cried so much. Honestly, I cried. I was bawling my eyes out during that episode. Not so much because of John's death, because he was never my favourite character. I didn't really like him, but it was Dean and Sam's reactions and them getting all upset about it that then made me cry. So yeah, that happened. And then the season was about finding the yellow-eyed demon and killing him. So I loved this season, but apparently there weren't that many episodes I would call my favourite, because there were only 2 this time. My favourites were episode 11, Playthings, and that was the one with the girl and the dolls and the swimming pool and the sister who drowned and stuff like that. And I don't know, I just really liked that episode. And then my favourite episode of the season was episode 15, Tall Tales, and that is the one where we first are introduced to the Trickster, and I absolutely love the Trickster so much. I think I probably also liked that episode because they mentioned Loki and I'm kind of obsessed with him in Marvel, so yeah, but it was a really fun episode and I loved it so much. So season 2 ended with Sam dying, but then Dean makes a deal, and so season 3 is all about him trying to like cancel the deal so that he doesn't get killed by these hellhounds at the end of the season. So my favourite episodes of this season were episode 6, Red Sky at Morning. Episode 11, Mystery Spot, because come on, everyone loves that episode. I mean, when I first watched it, I wasn't sure how I felt because Dean was my favourite and he was like dying over and over again. I'm just like, but you know, I loved the message of it and it was just such a fun, awesome episode. And again, the Trickster. Everyone loves the Trickster. Then episode 13, Ghost Faces, again because Ghost Faces. And my favourite episode out of the entire season is episode 3, Bad Day at Black Rock, because I absolutely love Bella so much. So I absolutely loved that episode, and I lost my shoe. I mean, it's so good. Poor Sam, but you know, I felt bad for Sam, but it was so hilarious at the same time. So season 4 is when it gets more interesting because they introduce angels into the show. We get Castiel and Uriel and all the angels like that. Dean comes back having been in hell for 4 months. And we also have Sam drinking demon blood and running around with Ruby. So my favourite episodes of this season were episode 1, Lazarus Rising, because Castiel is like, oh, I love him so much. Episode 3, In the Beginning. Episode 16, On the Head of a Pin. Episode 17, It's a Terrible Life. Episode 20, The Rapture. And my favourite episode in the whole season is episode 6, Yellow Fever, because that episode was so good. And like Dean screaming at a cat and stuff. Oh, I loved it so much. So season 5 is all about Lucifer and the apocalypse, because at the end of season 4 they kill Lilith, which then starts the apocalypse and brings Lucifer back. And so we get Lucifer and Adam and the cage and all of that stuff. So I actually really enjoyed this season just because I love Lucifer. Never thought I'd say that. So my favourite episodes of the season were episode 4, The End, episode 7, The Curious Case of Dean Winchester, episode 10, Abandon or Hope, episode 13, The Song Remains the Same, episode 16, Dark Side of the Moon, episode 17, Hammer of the Gods, episode 22, Swan Song, and my favourite episode in the whole season was episode 8, Changing Channels, again because the trickster. Everyone loves Gabriel. We find out he's actually an angel called Gabriel, and I love him so much, and I just loved that episode a lot, so yeah. Also, Hammer of the Gods, I still don't think Gabriel is actually dead. Please, please, can he come back? Please, like, I need Gabriel back, okay? I love him so much. So at the end of season 5, Sam gets trapped in the cage of Lucifer, Michael and Adam. So then comes season 6, everyone's forgotten about Adam's existence, and Sam suddenly comes back from the cage, except he doesn't have a soul. So my favourite episodes of this season were episode 9, Clap Your Hands If You Believe, episode 11, Appointment in Samara, episode 12, Like a Virgin, episode 17, My Heart Will Go On, episode 18, Frontierland, and my favourite episode of the season, of course, is episode 15, The French Mistake, because come on, everyone loves that episode. So at the end of season 6, Cass becomes God, and in season 7 we get the Leviathans. My favourite episodes in season 7 were episode 4, Defending Your Life, episode 6, Slash Fiction, episode 10, Death's Doors, episode 14, Plucky Penny Whistle's Magical what? The one with the unicorn. Episode 16, Out with the Old. Episode 17, The Born Again Identity. Episode 19, Of Grave Importance. And my favourite episode of the whole season was episode 20, The Girl with the Dungeons and Dragons Tattoo, because Charlie. So once they defeated the Dick, Dean and Cass ended up in purgatory, and once they escaped, we then had season 8. And season 8 we had Benny and Sam and Dean trying to shut the gates of hell. So my favourite episodes in season 8 were, and there are a lot of them, episode 1, We Need to Talk About Kevin, episode 4, Bitten, episode 7, A Little Slice of Kevin, episode 8, Huntery Hero... Episode 8. Episode 11, LARP and the Real Girl. Episode 15, Man's Best Friend with Benefits. Episode 16, Remember the Titans. Episode 23, Sacrifice. And my favourite episode of the whole season was episode 20, Pac-Man Fever. And I loved that episode so much because we learnt about Charlie's past and her history, and there was just loads of character development in it for Charlie. You know, I loved it so much. So season 9, we then had Dean letting an angel possess Sam. We had Metatron, Abaddon, and Dean getting the Mark of Cain. My favourite episodes in this season were episode 3, I'm No Angel, episode 13, The Purge, and my 2 favourite episodes of the season were episode 4, Slumber Party, and episode 5, Dog Dean Afternoon, because Charlie and Dean becoming a dog human and being able to talk to animals. Dean then dies at the end of season 9, and in season 10 he's actually a demon. So in this season we get Rowena, and we have Sam and Dean trying to get rid of the mark. So my favourite episodes of season 10 were episode 6, Ask Jeeves, episode 9, The Things We Left Behind, episode 11, There's No Place Like Home, episode 12, About a Boy, episode 13, Halt and Catch Fire, episode 18, Book of the Damned, episode 21, Dark Dynasty, I liked it until the end, and of course my all-time favourite episode of the season is episode 5, Fanfiction, because who doesn't love that episode? So season 10 ends with them getting rid of the mark, but the darkness is then freed, and so season 11 is all about defeating the darkness and Mara, and Lucifer comes back, and Chuck is God. Yeah. So my favourite episodes of season 11 were episode 4, Baby, episode 7, Plush, episode 8, Just My Imagination, episode 9, Oh Brother Where Art Thou, episode 10, The Devil in the Details, and episode 16, Safe House. Now, I'm not really sure what my favourite episode in the whole season is. It would probably be either episode 8, Just My Imagination, or one of the Lucifer episodes, because I love Lucifer so much, and Lucifer possessing Cass, Misha Collins' performance was spot on. It was amazing. So season 11 ends with them defeating the darkness, but there's this random British girl who may or may not have shot Sam, and she sent Cass away, and Amara has resurrected Mary. So a lot of Supernatural I actually had spoiled because I was watching it way after it came out and stuff like that. I think the biggest spoilers I had were the death of Charlie, Chuck being God, and Mary being brought back from the dead at the end of season 11. So yeah, it sucked that I had all this spoiled, but it didn't ruin it for me. It might have been more interesting and exciting to watch had I not known what was going to happen, but it was still awesome and I loved it so much. So now I'm just gonna go through like favourite seasons, characters, and all of that stuff. Okay, so my favourite season, it's kind of hard to choose, but I think it would have to be season 7. As to why, I don't know, I just loved the story arc of it. I loved all the new characters we got, especially Charlie, and Dick was an amazing villain, and the Leviathans were really awesome, and I just really loved the season, really. So it's my favourite season, season 7. My least favourite season would probably have to be season 6. I think the season kind of dragged on a bit, and Sam isn't my favourite character, so it was very centred around him, and I think that might be why I didn't enjoy it all, but it was still a good season. It's just not my favourite. So my favourite ever character out of every single character that has ever been on the show, you've probably guessed it by now, but it is in fact Charlie Bradbury. As to why I love her, maybe it's because I relate to her because she's a massive fangirl and geek. I mean, I'm kind of one too, so that's one reason why I love her, and I don't know, she's just so amazing and adorable, and I want to be her best friend, and I love every single episode she's in, apart from Dark Dynasty, because that was a good episode until the very end when she died. I am still not okay. I don't think I've ever cried that much at a TV show. And the thing is, I had it spoiled, so I knew it was gonna happen, so even though I could prepare myself mentally for it, I still... not okay. I really hope they bring her back. I don't care how, so long as she comes back. Like, please. So my favourite living character who is still in the show is Castiel, because it's Castiel. First favourite female character, so the first female character who I was like, that is my favourite character, was in fact Bella Talbot. I just loved her so much, and I loved all the episodes she was in, and I was so sad when she died. I really want her to come back as well. My first favourite male character was Dean, and he was my favourite until Cass came in. So my favourite episodes out of all the ones I've listed are probably Changing Channels Fanfiction, and I'm pretty certain that my favourite episode ever out of all the episodes of Supernatural is in fact Pac-Man Fever. Again, because of the character development with Charlie, I just love that episode so much, and it means so much, and oh, I love it. So my favourite demons are Crowley and Abaddon. I absolutely love Crowley so much. Like, I often find myself rooting for him and on his side, even when he's going up against Dean and Sam, but I love him so much, and I also really liked Abaddon. So my favourite angels, not including Castiel, have to be Gabriel and Lucifer. I just love them so much. Now my favourite ship is Destiel. In season 3, I did actually ship Bella with Dean, but then Cass came along, and now I've been hardcore shipping Destiel ever since that first season 4 episode. My favourite quote from the entire show is, "I'm the one who gripped you tight and raised you from perdition," and that is obviously Castiel talking to Dean, and that is like the line that started the ship Destiel, and I just ship it so much, and you know, it's totally canon. Definitely. That's probably a reason why I love fan fiction so much as well, because they do cover it. I mean, they do kind of throw some shade at all us Destiel shippers because Dean does not look impressed, but I still ship it. And I think that is pretty much everything. If you want to find out anything else that I thought about the show, just tweet me or message me on Tumblr and I'd happily talk about it for hours with you. But that's all I'm going to cover in this sort of spoiler review / me just talking about it. But now that I've caught up, I will do seasonally reviews of it like I do with The Flash and Arrow, so look forward to that. I guess now we wait for October when all the shows that I watch are gonna come back with new seasons, and there goes my life. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Comment down below what you thought of Supernatural. How long have you been a fan? Who are your favourite characters and seasons and episodes? And yeah, just comment down below anything about the show. If you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys all in my next video. Goodbye!